moisture on, lots of moisture for grading.
Thank you for grading.
I was afraid that,
I was
boy,
late.
that is the one too full.
I was late getting over here. The road was so nice. I just fly right through the intersection.
Right.
Yeah, stop, turn around, come back.
It must be out there, must be going like 25 when you go through.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring the meeting to order. It says road foreman first. What do you have, road foreman?
Well, that yesterday, it rained once in a while, a little bit, but the weatherman said no great amount of rain whatsoever. So I said, we gotta get that straightened out over there, so we went over and,
So are you going to Kelsey Mountain?
Kelsey Mountains, always through that side. And, so anyways, it rained a little bit, and I said, well, it's clear over here, keep on going. So we kept on going, and, well, when I got back home last night, we all know what happened.
It really rained.
How much do you think we got?
I don't know how much we actually got
Oh,
for
yeah.
rain,
I had,
but I wanted to hide, because I figured somebody might. But I was over there about 5:45 this morning to see just what kind of mess I was gonna deal with.
Oh,
And,
Weren't
it was in pretty good shape, so
Yeah.
I just ran the hone over it, out and back. And
Yeah.
Done deal.
That stone you get from Randolph Center seems to make a difference.
Yeah,
I think it does make some difference.
and Randolph did the dugout road today.
It
Wow,
is.
yeah, couldn't believe it. A new kid they got, is good grader operator, because I met him up on Turtles Road. Man, he was digging right in, That hadn't been graded all summer, I don't think.
Thomas likes digging right in, but I told him yesterday, I don't trust the weather or the idea of the water is not gonna hurt things. You don't dig too deep today. Yeah. Well,
Any news on the new truck?
it's being built. See, we went a different route with the body this time around compared to the rest of the times. Doesn't cost any more, it just waits. You have to wait longer for it, but it's being powder painted
Oh, yeah, powder coat.
and, but that is done through the factory and, so it actually adds 6 weeks to the body itself showing up. But it's supposed to be, it will, repel the rust better.
Yeah.
So I said, let's just try it. We'll see what happens. And, if we like it, we'll know what to do with the rest of the truck.
Right, we never had a powder coated truck.
And so there's a couple of spots on them bodies that wear, and
Yes.
I asked for some stronger, steel, whatever.
Reinforcement or something?
Yeah, it's a,
Or better seat.
yeah, what's the name of that kind of steel?
Carbide?
Well, it's
Tungsten?
tungsten. I think that's what they call it. Steel that they put on the chain.
Oh, sure, so that will never wear out.
And so that was in
Huh.
on fixing it so the chain don't fall on the ground.
Got a problem with the Dodge.
Uh,
Is that a problem with the Dodge?
It's
One
a,
of them.
it's a problem with all of our trucks. That chain goes around and around on that with the sand
And
and
it's
steel.
dragging
Yes.
sand.
Just piles them right down.
Yeah.
So
Sand isn't the worst.
And so we tried to address that with this little body. If we like what it is, then I would encourage it. We do the bigger trucks. Because it's not easy to send them back, have that all put in new again because it wore out on us and it's not cheap. So, but Larry's truck is back up to McLeod's.
They got like a homing device in it or something?
Well, was, yeah, I don't know if I really am supposed to take the blame for it, but I will. I didn't raise the
You're
body up.
gonna get the blame for it.
I didn't raise the body up to see if they actually did the work on the Tunbridge bar,
Oh, yeah,
and because that's why I went up there for it. We went up there because it's got a nasty shake, and we can't figure out why it's shaking. And but that brand new bushing is out to the side because the snap ring didn't hold well. They fixed the shake. The shake was actually in the front end. And so when the truck was on the floor with the body up in the air, I wanted to get it greased, serviced. And I said, well, look at that crap. That thing is laying right out on the side. And so I called them up, and they have no record of they actually fixed
Oh,
it. When it was upset.
So it went back and have something fixed, and they didn't actually fix what they were supposed to fix.
So
What did they say about that?
your guess good's mine. Seeing it didn't actually work on it, they didn't actually charge us. So, but I say they did charge us because they put it in brand new and it didn't stay there. And so I don't know what's gonna happen. Some things it's got a little principle, but the principle costs so much that you're better off just pay the bill. So I don't know what really.
Time away from Tunbridge too.
Because every time that you upset a company, guess who does a lot of waiting? And so parts have been really hard to get hands on them.
yeah. I mean,
And so they had a chain sitting on the floor up there. And I told Larry that you better staff that up and bring it home. It's not a case of if you use the chain, it's when you're gonna use the chain in those truck bodies. And so I told him we'd better have it on our floor than to have a truck this winter sitting around with no chain in it.
What's it, $100? Or is it
Probably gonna be, I don't really know the price, honestly. But past chains are around $1,100.
still gonna have it?
But
Give it a spot.
I just can't,
money.
You bought a soda, got the chain.
I just can't, due to the fact I can't take a chance that you don't have a truck to use. I had to get it now, and I ordered. There is no culverts out there to be bought. And so I did manage to get my hands on the 2-footer that I needed. So I purchased the 2-footer, and I got a 1-footer and a 15-inch. Because you can't get your hands on them, and if I have a blowout, I need something to put into the ground. So they're sitting there to make sure we're covered if we have a problem.
Better not have a hurricane.
Fake reference.
Where did the one we used last come from? We had that.
I came from Ferguson. They had 5 sticks, I believe is what he told me, over in Rutland. And so they grabbed 3 from there and brought it over here. But I've had these on order since May to do this Russell job, and I still don't have them.
Wow.
And
Where are those made?
Uh,
China?
I'm not sure. They're here in the United States. I'm not sure exactly where down in Massachusetts they make them. I do believe they come from a factory down there in Massachusetts. But they're just unreal to get your hands on it right this moment. Apparently a chip in them, and you can't buy a chip.
Computer controlled culverts.
There's a Tunbridge bar.
I know, I wrote that down.
How do you spell
Question
Friday?
mark?
Yeah.
From the internet.
What was it?
Mariah's gonna tell us.
He's gonna look up.
No,
the
you-
question.
You were right, TRUNNIL.
What did you think?
I thought you were wrong. I thought that you
Phonetically
spelled it
spelling
wrong,
the way I wrote
and
for
so,
myself.
Oh, so you got a picture.
yeah,
Well, I'd like to know.
this is what it is, everybody.
Oh. Well, that was that.
Maybe,
Just what I thought it was.
yeah,
They
yeah.
What is it?
should run the fair, so.
It's not exactly that one, but it's one of them. It's a little shape like that, though. It's a V shape with a piece of iron.
Can I look at that? Yeah, that's on a trailer. It's the same principle. It keeps your trailer from swaying back and forth on the road. That's what this is.
And they were swaying back and forth on the road.
Yes, it does. I got a quote from Benson Boy for almost $6,000 to fix that blacktop at the culvert
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and blacktop.
Benson Boy, PO1.
He's precision paving, right?
Yeah, probably.
It's drawn.
And blacktop. With all the figures that I can come up with, blacktop will get it done for less than 5. And they should get it done for about. We figured it 25 feet wide, 22 feet in width. And if we don't use any extra for shimming, it would come up to about 3,700. But if we need to shim to make it come out right, I added the extra 4 ton to tell you that it's closer to 5 than it is, because it's $250 a ton.
We need guardrails and everything.
gotta have, blacktop to it.
And they go through it in a reasonable amount of time.
Well,
Put it together.
John,
Does the kid does too much paving?
I guess he does dooryards and stuff like
Oh,
that. I would. They both say yes, they can get it done at a reasonable time. Blacktop. They figure they can get it done in the next 2 weeks.
oh, wow.
And so, but like I said, because I didn't know what the prices were and this and that. I did get a couple of answers on, what it could be for mine, and so blacktop, I guess, still not a bad idea.
Better give them a check for the same one.
Well, I pretty much told them that we were gonna need them and start booking me in for it.
Did you make a motion or is it?
I think he needs to make a motion. You need a second.
I think, higher blacktop paving. How do you spell blacktop?
I think it's PLA.
Higher blacktop paving, pave the culvert replacement.
Good motion. I'll tell you, I,
In Western Tom, antioxidant super tea, pomegranate honey green tea with some fresh mint leaves from my garden. It was delicious. Now I'm drinking water.
watch it.
And I think I was thinking about a beer.
Let's admit,
with no men.
you gotta put a line in the back.
What else is going on, Rodney?
Well, we cleaned up the trees today from that storm. Well, it seemed like every tree that came down during that storm had to be big. No little stuff fell down, it was all big stuff. So we got that cleaned up. Been trying to hit the pothole areas to get them filled in. It really does kind of hurt a little bit to not have a ton truck, which we all know we're working on. Because those bigger trucks, they just stand so tall that ain't no fun trying to get sand out of them. Gravel, whatever.
Speaking of that, sand is being delivered.
Yes,
Oh, how'd it go that rainy day there?
as luck would have it, the pit road gave up before my road did.
Oh, good.
And so they had to stop because they couldn't get through the pit road. And the sand was coming
So
out.
they all have all of these kind of,
So we did call me and said, I'm gonna save you the trouble, I shut the trucks down. So he did. There should be fairly substantial bill coming in here. It's for some sand. Mike asked me about doing monthly payments on sand to keep up with it, with smaller bills. Well, as luck would have it, a lot of your sand came in again. So, like, we're 1,400 yards from having it all,
oh, wow. Cool.
and we're probably won't receive any more of that until, it will come in between now and deer season, I guess, because he's gonna truck that himself.
Okay.
He may have Mr. Rogers truck some of it, but he's gonna truck that himself. He's not gonna hire.
The whole crew.
Right. That also means that when asked him about next year's sand, he doesn't know if he's gonna be bothered by doing any more sand with it, because the overburden is so bad that he doesn't know if he's gonna pay somebody to keep it, get it cleaned off. Because this year, I guess, he did the bulldozing and Rogers did the trucking away. And so, the reason why I'm telling you this is, there's a possibility that we'll have to really scratch our head about where sand comes from.
What's the overburden?
Well, it's dirt on top of the sand, it has to be removed.
So it's just getting more difficult to work.
Yeah, it's getting to be 15 feet deep.
Well, speaking of that, I talked to the woman who owns the quarry. She said she would sell it. Wow. But her brother would be a little more stubborn. She thought. And so I called. So anyway, I got that going, and I gave her Peter Hayden's number. And I called Peter Hayden, and then the next day he sent an email saying they had both to the top. And I don't know where that's going, but so that might give us, because Peter Hayden told us that we could have some waste material from the other side of the Beaver Dam. He owns that as well.
Oh, he does. That's the side I've been wanting.
Right, anyway, so
I
we
really-
may end up getting some of that for free.
Because the other side of the road was what I was referring to. I never really did suggest that we go into the old quarry, but although the old quarry has a lot already blasted and already broke up, sitting there, but there's monstrous piles on the other side of the road.
So that's what I was saying.
Well, they want us to go in and get what's already been blasted. or something. So I think he just.
Brenda was gonna go up in there today and look at some of that material and stuff. To, I don't know, take pictures, bring back for you to look at, or get a rough idea on Brenda Fields or and somebody else. I guess you ask for a committee or something to check into it.
No,
I don't remember that.
All right. I just kind of, you know,
It's probably a lot depending on what sort of activity permit you need to.
Right. but that might be.
that's where you'll come in and help us iron that over.
There you go. Yeah, that's gonna change anyway, probably.
So what else is going on? Anything at all?
Matt will start that project on the Russell Road without culverts. The first week of September. So that'll be coming right up. We'll be doing that. Then of course he'll shut down the street there. And we have see, some of these things, I'm not sure how we're gonna get them all paid. Yeah, hey, and then we get our money. But we have a bridge that we got a grant for. And that's gonna be probably somewhere up around $200,000.
What road?
The one down here, just the other, it's the big culvert. They're gonna change it over to either a box culvert.
Belknap?
Or on Belknap.
Yeah.
It's in the works right now to get the state to come in and survey. And we're gonna figure out whether it's a box culvert would be best there or a real bridge.
It's below the one that put in.
Yeah, it's the last one on the whole road, but they've done it, yeah.
Just in the flat, that's the four.
But
What's in there?
Just a regular culvert now, is it?
Pat Ross has been pushing me to look into the cement culvert because he seems to think we can get them for about half what we pay for a bridge. And so if that's true, then something we need to do.
Sure. All right, anything else?
No, very good.
And when is that? You said we got a grant for it. What's the time frame of the grant?
Probably next summer.
Okay,
But I believe it's 18 months from the time we heard about it.
well, but we can budget for that thing, you know, by fall. What the price
But
is.
I guess, grants are great. Yes, if they all gang up on us,
Right.
we gotta figure out where the money comes from.
Did Isaac get our trees cut down?
We did. Yeah, and I don't know what happened to it, but the wood's all gone and everything, so that's good job cleaned up. Because when I left the lady there, and talking to her about the trees, there was a cut and leave the wood. And I think Isaac wanted the wood, and so I told him, well, you have to talk to them about the wood, and I see it's all gone, so apparently they didn't want the wood either.
Who's the lady, Ethel?
Maybe a daughter or something. The Apple, I believe, is. Oh,
Yeah, it was just her birthday.
No way.
Yeah, it was just her birthday.
Really?
Yesterday, I think.
Holy smoke.
Yeah.
Wow.
so
That's
I don't think it, she,
At home.
so I don't think she was gonna say one way or the other. So I mean, she definitely weren't the lady I was talking.
Okay, she didn't look 101.
Yeah, no,
Something.
yeah. Becky wanted me to tell you, Aflac representative will be coming to the garage. She didn't give me a date, but she said they are coming.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of got to the point where they get money every week, you know.
What's the back?
We don't get any benefits supposed to be paid out because you can't find them and you can't figure out who to deal with. So, kind of want to change that.
At least with the tax bills going up.
Mhm.
So that'll help.
Just, you know, Sam, I know there's gonna be a bill showing up real soon. It's gonna be a hefty one.
But we already paid that, but hey,
I
that's just
don't
the
know.
game.
I don't know
I think we
how
paid
much
for
of that.
some.
I did pay for some.
Like 25 or 27. Can't be more than, can't be more than 40 or something like that. You know.
All right, is that it? Tom's truck is in the hospital down in Lebanon. It's
Run in.
It's it broke. He broke a bracket that the S cam goes through, goes into the brakes. And I was going to change it at the garage, but it's so rotted in there that I said, you know what? We will send it down there.
Haven't we had trouble with those many times before?
Yeah, we fought many times, and that's when I decided to send it. And so while it was there, they put it on their computer to see why the lights were on the dash, and or to get inspected, you gotta get the lights off the dash. So it needed two O2 sensors. It needed a ring that goes around the axle to get the ABS light to go out. That's a rust situation. Salt and stuff got in there and rotted it away. Well, and it,
We have one dump truck at the moment.
well, you know what?
Go for it.
I brought old Faithful out there. You had to go back.
Yeah. Max actually saw it and he goes, geez,
Big truck, that truck's old.
Yeah.
101.
It's I put out 6 load with her this afternoon.
Wow.
Ran all right. Still a good truck. But I tell you don't miss a gear with an automatic. And sometimes you do with standard.
So you just get rusty. Just like the rear ends, you're rusty.
And if you drive automatics a lot, then you're more apt to miss one of those things.
That's true.
That's it.
All right.
Good. Thank you.
All right.
Drink your beer or your flavored water.
I ain't got any beer now.
You can sneak over next door and grab a mint leaf if you want.
Yeah, I do have some good things.
Fire on it.
So,
What did the health officer recommend?
yeah, Jody Point.
Did Betsy actually meet with her?
I think they talked, yeah, and Jody emailed me and gave me all her information and sent me this form that we need to send in, so we just need.
What happened to the other two?
I haven't heard back from either one of them. I invited them to that last. meeting.
Betsy talked to one of them, said she changed her mind, wasn't interested, I can't remember which one.
Okay,
In talking with the health officer, she said that, this girl might be expecting a stipend of some kind. More than maybe. Betsy, well, Betsy said that 400 was for use for postage or hiring a deputy to serve papers or
It's all reimbursement.
right. But I think before we make any decision on this woman, that we better get her in here and find out what she's expecting.
Mhm.
Because she may be expecting a lot
Right.
more than we're,
Right, let's do that before we actually appoint it. In the next meeting.
Do we want to do it during a meeting, or do you want to need to be, yeah, like,
I would think so. I mean,
I think we should have it during a regular meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if we had to make some top secret decision, then we could go into executive session.
yeah, I don't think there's any reason that we have to go into executive
No.
session.
I think that's the only stickler. I've known Jody ever since she was born, and she's a good young woman. Pretty sharp, I guess. She's a nurse, and all that stuff.
Well, I talked to the health officer there Sunday quite well about this. And she thought that she'd be good and everything, but she just
Right.
got the feeling that she was thinking that she was gonna get a little chunk of change.
Right.
And of course Betsy has never asked for anything,
Right.
so maybe we'll have to come up with something, but I don't know what she's expecting. you
Well,
know.
just clarify, if nothing else.
Well, can you ask a couple other firms around
Mhm.
what they do? Because it might be on a per case type thing
Right.
or hourly, like
Mhm.
what, for the hour.
No, I think Betsy, but she said maybe this one was gonna be able to do it because she has kids and stuff, but she said, you know, she takes it off the tax, she keeps track of miles and does that, so she gets her money that way. But she said this girl, got kids and stuff, maybe she couldn't do that
Right.
or something, I don't.
I do feel like Betsy did a lot and put in a lot of time.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's definitely like a pretty demanding job, I think, especially when you have multiple different things going
Right.
on.
And it's one of those things that might go all year, and never have nothing,
Right.
and then you get 3 of them.
Right.
Some nasty ones too.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had a gentleman come in to the office with 2 questions, and he wanted me to bring it up at this meeting. Was he has a lot of extra wood, cuts and seasoned wood that he doesn't need, and he wanted to know if we somehow could come up with an area. He was thinking maybe if we had property at the town garage, that we could do like a at-need community, wood pile that maybe then others who had extra wood just where could drop some off, and then we could have it be that type of thing. Becky and I were talking about it today, and we thought that was a great idea, but how would we police it?
Right.
How would somebody wouldn't just come in
Wouldn't
the
it-
middle of the night and take all of
Wouldn't
it?
it be better to like tell Ben Wolf for that?
Right.
Neighbors up in-
Yeah,
Right.
distribute it that way or
They could
something,
administer,
right?
like a group something.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll bring it over to my house.
I know.
I'll make sure it's
See.
distributed.
The old trail, Gary's house down Townbury.
No, I think that might be better to do it that way, because then it saves you bringing it out of the town garage
Well-
and handling it twice.
Right, you just bring it to Townbury, then you just stack it there and whatever. And,
You ought to take it right from wherever their pile is now to wherever it
yeah,
needs it,
if the guy,
if you can do that.
if he can do that.
Right.
Well, can I speak for a second? This is Paul Harwood.
Yep.
It's the wood that I'm gonna donate to the towns, I've cleared fence lines up here at the Dodge Farm and cut and split some 10 to 15 cords of wood a year ago last spring, so it's a year and a half old, and it needs to get out of the pasture, so I need to move it. And I need to move all of it. I can't really sort of wait around for somebody to say, well, this load goes, 1 cord goes to Joe and 1 cord goes to Jane, and that requires me to do delivering into people's dooryards and things. So I was just looking to see if there was somebody or the municipal, down the town garage to just be able to put up a pile of wood. And then is there an energy committee that sort of helps people who have needs for heating to evaluate those needs and can make arrangements through neighbors helping neighbors to get it from that site to their dooryard. I don't really want to deliver 10 cords of wood in half cord loads all over town. But I'm happy to give 10 cords away, all seasoned dry. I mean, it's more than seasoned, it's dry, to one spot. So that every few afternoons, I can just load the trailer and take it down somewheres and dump it. And
I would just talk to Rodney and ask him where he wants it.
Yeah.
We'll dump it
It's
there.
stacked so nicely, Paul.
what's that?
It's stacked so nicely right now.
It sure is. Yeah, but John wants it, gone. He's worried that it's gonna rot.
Right.
And then I have to move rotten wood to some stockpiled junk heap in his dooryard somewheres. And I don't want to do that. I work too hard to put it up, and I just assume somebody have it to heat their home with.
So
I don't want to give it to you, John, because you don't need it. I want to give it to somebody who has some real needs for it.
like you.
Or maybe you with your new barn.
I know.
Yeah.
There you go. I don't care where it goes once I get it to where you want it to go.
It should be burned this winter though, right, Paul?
It should be fine this winter or next. I mean, it's been sitting out and it's not covered, but it's fully in the sun. Those pieces that are touching the ground right now, they should get burned this winter, but the rest of it would be okay for one more winter beyond. But I bet if we put up a 10 cord pile someplace and told people who had needs that they could pick up some wood, I bet it would be gone before this winter.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it might be like a depot. I know when I was the forester for the town of Norwich, we had a firewood depot there that the road crew would take trees that they cut out of the road, and instead of just blocking them up and leaving them off to the side, they'd take them to the depot. And then once or twice a year, they had a volunteer group of people that come up and bucket all up and split it and stack it in. They had a really nice woodshed, and they stacked it all up. And then I don't know what committee decided needs, but somebody decided that, means testing or age or something, that you deserve a cord of wood, and they made arrangements to have it delivered, and it worked really well. And I can't believe that I'm the only person in town who has a little extra firewood kicking around that is willing to donate to the people who need it.
Is it in lengths and split now, Paul?
Oh yeah, it was split spring of 2020.
So what,
It's all cut and split to about 14 to 16 inches.
small, very well.
About 8 years, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that little tiny stuff in there. Or long stuff. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Paul, and let's, someone will speak to, I think we have who was it? It was a committee that gives that money for fuel or fuel assistance. It's Ben?
Yeah. Then,
Okay.
do you want to talk to Rodney about space?
So Mariah's gonna speak to Ben Wolf
Okay.
about the need part of it and organizing the distribution after you deliver it. And who wants to speak to Rodney?
I can speak for
Okay, so Mike's gonna speak to Rodney about where to put it at the town garage.
Okay.
One of us, probably Mike or someone, will get back to you about delivery to the space
Okay.
garage.
Okay, that would be great.
What's the access to it, Paul? Like, I'm just thinking if,
It's via the legal trail
Oh, man,
between your house and my house. I have to use about 300 feet of that legal trail to get to this wood.
you go out
I
the
know
back.
the sign says walking only, but
No, I just wondered, say like Matt Loftus with a excavator with a grapple or something like that, or if we essentially put it in a dump truck to get it out of there as fast as possible. Or if you want to do it, I didn't know.
if Rodney wanted to come up with a bucket loader and a dump truck, he could have it all in the two dump truck loads and it'd be
Right.
gone. Yeah.
I'm just looking at
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I only have a Toyota Tacoma and a 14-foot trailer. So I'm going to be taking it from there
Work for
to
you.
the town garage in like half cord loads. And so there's about 20 trips for me. So it certainly would be lovely if my donation included somebody else picking up all the wood and taking it to the town garage. But I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to deliver it. So,
Okay, we'll ask Rodney about that.
Yeah.
could just see if you could scoop it up, throw it in a dump truck.
You've seen it, John. It's all piled up so square that,
Exactly. I was just wondering, you go out the Vast Trail or some other trail?
No, it goes up there.
no, it's the only way you can get to it. The Vast Trail is a swamp down by the bridge. The bridge that Vast put in is a swamp down there, so you can't get in that way.
But
And
from the top, you come in the legal trail and then go down the Vast Trail through the field?
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly. And that's hard and dry the whole way.
yeah,
It is.
It is. So, the only sticking point is that, it's a legal trail. And right now, you haven't made a decision about what uses that can have. But I sort of think that since it's the landowner's only access to the pasture, that wheeled traffic should be allowed to get that far.
you probably make a waiver.
Yeah, something to decide.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, good. And it would be one of those things that I would hope that it would be the seed of intent so that other people added to the pile in years in the future. So that wasn't a one-shot deal. If it's a one-shot deal, that's great, but I'd love it to be something that between town crew putting blowdown wood on the pile and others, that there would be wood for people in the future.
Right. I mean, I think the great thing about this, just to start with, is that it's all ready to go, just because I can see there might be liability issues if you had people chainsawing up a big pile of wood on town property.
Well, that's a great point, John, but you might want to talk to Norwich because they do it
Yeah,
all the time. They do it every year and have for 15 years. And I'm sure that Norwich, being Norwich, has looked into the liability issue of having volunteers do something like that.
for sure.
Right. I wouldn't want it to be something that the town crew was responsible for blocking and splitting wood.
Right.
But,
Or just anybody can come at any time,
right.
I don't think that's probably a good idea either.
Yeah, it's going to have to be something that's sort of organized and orchestrated.
Right. Yeah.
But at least with this startup, it's all split and stacked and dry. So,
And the other thing, Paul, is instead of you making 20 some loads, if Ben knew of some people, some essentially Tunbridge lively elderly who needed wood, you could do 5 loads right to them would make more sense than you just dumping it off, just to stop us from handling.
as long as they've got reasonable access where they, at that end. So I don't have to jack around into the backside of somebody's chicken house with a 14-foot trailer in my truck just to.
Right, or that's
wood.
like a 1-ton dump type of thing. We could.
That would be great. That would be great. If somebody in town has got a 1-ton dump, we had a couple people throw it in, that they could take it right where it belonged. That would be slick.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yep,
so,
thank you.
Now, the other issue I came in to talk to Mariah about was I get listserv from a couple other towns, and it's really handy to be able to look at listserv and see the selectmen's agenda and the selectmen minutes. And, even the Herald doesn't have Tunbridge minutes in it hardly ever. And, I think out of an effort for transparency, and I'm not suggesting you guys are doing anything shady that shouldn't be seen, but it'd be nice if the town knew what was going on, and I know that the minutes are available on your website, and so is your agenda, but you have to consciously go for that. And most everybody gets listserv in the morning or something, and so it pops up in front of them, and it's kind of interesting to see what Stratford or Royalton's doing at their selectmen's meetings and their road crew, but I don't hear anything from Tunbridge unless I go looking for it. So please consider putting your agenda and your minutes in both Tunbridge listserv and the Herald Randolph.
So like Front Porch Forum?
That's fine too. I don't see that, but any other of those venues that are out there that people look at, I think the more people that know what you're doing and what our money, tax dollars are being spent for, the more support you're going to get for all sorts of ventures. I spend a lot of time in Stratford, and it's interesting how many people know what the selectmen are doing in Stratford. They know what topics of conversation they had at the last meeting and what's coming up at the next meeting. And they get a lot more people at their selectmen's meetings via Zoom because people are aware of what the meeting's going to be about, and they have an opinion and they want to discuss it. So it might make your meetings more complicated, having all these extra people sticking their 2 cents into, your discussion. But I don't think that's a bad thing. So that's my suggestion.
That's good. Well,
All
Paul,
right, I'm done.
all right, thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
So
Nobody at Stratford works, so they can go on stuff all the time.
I know someone who works over there.
Who?
Yeah.
Name it.
What's his name there? No, the tractor guy that builds little sheds.
Earl Silver.
Yeah, Earl Silver.
Who?
Earl Silver. You must know.
Oh, yeah.
Was it that? Two people.
So,
How does listserv work? Because there are all these different
When we had them,
front porch forum.
when we had this
listserv.
4 town
Yeah.
things, everybody was talking about this. I haven't got a clue what it is.
you have to sign up. You have to have
Are you
your,
on it?
the towns on it, yeah. And I'll
Okay.
put like big things like warning for town meeting, or like I did the rabies clinic, I did things like that. So we are on listserv and front porch forum. But the thing with those is you have to, which I guess would be fine for minutes in the agenda, but it only goes up once. So you post it and that person gets it in their email the next day and then poof, it's gone. So like it doesn't repost it for them to see. So I might put it on, but if John's out of town, then he's not gonna check his email and see it the next day. But that's fine. I can put it on.
Like on Monday, you put it on.
Yeah. Yeah, like when I
Is
get
it
the
a big
minutes.
deal?
No, it's not. It's just,
You post already.
yeah, I mean, I'm not super active on it. I'll post if I have something that like alert, this is different than our twice a month select board meeting. So I'll put it on there, but that's fine.
And then how do you sign up to be on?
You have to go on the website and you have to put your email address in, and then it will email you every day.
What's there?
Yeah. Sometimes it's one thing and a lot of times it's like, free chair at John O'Brien's house,
Right.
come pick it up. Or-
Like front porch.
Yeah, the same.
And sometimes nothing.
Right. But yeah, that's fine. Do we want to do the Herald? The Herald will discuss.
What's, no,
A
No,
lot of money.
they can.
they usually do it for you. They usually do it
Well,
for you.
Oh, really?
if they
They get
think,
it wrong.
there's some stink being stirred up, they don't have any problem. Print them.
Is
So
that-
why, why the, if it would cost money, like, we say,
Well,
we just set
if
the.
we call them up. and
If
said
we, if I
wanted
email
to
the Herald and I
post their
say,
agenda,
yeah, hey, I want you to post.
The agenda.
Yeah, like I posted for 2 weeks that the Stratford Road was going to be closed.
Yeah.
Like the Lord Lift Testament was like $135 each print. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to put.
Not, but a lot of times, they'll be like Bethel selects, they'll say this, but that's just not paying for that. That's just that Herald making an editorial decision to print it.
I don't
Right.
know.
So
Is
I
it?
wonder,
Right.
yeah.
Oh.
It's like a story. It's
Oh.
not like in the warnings.
Right,
Okay.
And then last week's Herald, there was no too much news at all.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
right.
It's just like, look and look.
I mean, it might be interesting to talk to Caliber about just, what his sort of policy on that is, because it's not.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
right,
Like he,
a year ago, we were in there every friggin' week.
right,
Just because something was going on,
Right. Controversial.
yes.
but it'd be interesting.
And-
Maybe we should
and
just
they
have a
like,
mini project or whatever, just to see. Even like town correspondence, whether Scott wants to do whatever he's doing or find somebody else, but just so there's a hundred presence.
But Paul has a good point, because I like to read the Chelsea Select Board minutes in a while, to just see what our adjoining towns are actually doing.
And you read that in the Herald?
Yes.
If it's there, right.
And you're saying that Chelsea and Royalton don't pay for that, they don't send it to Tim and Tim,
No, it's in the Chelsea News or the Railton News.
and that's what they're going to.
Right. And sometimes they print our minutes in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pick out words they like. And,
Oh, I have so long, I don't-
and
I feel well.
and if they don't feel like it, they just don't do it. I mean, they go on our website, pull them off if they want.
And I think most of them are, if they've got 5 pages of minutes, they don't print all 5 pages, they just print certain
Half
excerpts.
sentences, you don't really know. what it's-
And I don't care one way or the other if they're printing or not, but I do like being other people.
Okay, so when
Just
I,
ask them, you know, even if it's like, if you did like a compressed minutes or something.
press,
Yeah, but they
The
don't even,
highlights.
they don't even do that, John.
Right.
Because we used to send, we had a big row in Brookfield once, because our minutes were never in the paper. So we take kind of a condensed version, send them down there, and they don't condense them even more. And so people were calling us up, and say, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's more
whoa,
trouble.
that didn't happen. So that's good.
I don't know.
I'll
So
email,
I just let them do whatever they want to do.
so don't talk to Tim.
No, I would. I'd like to have a minute just to see, just in
On a
general.
Zoom meeting
how-
or just like,
Like, Zoom's fine.
Zoom's okay, I mean, if you want to come over, yeah. Zoom's okay.
Just sort of how the Herald covers stuff.
Yeah.
Municipal.
We want all positive stuff too. We want all positive stuff, but that's funny.
and then I will start putting the minutes and the agenda on the listserv.
They're not paid obituaries out there, like your mom, is that?
That costs money and I can't do it, yes.
Yeah, but it's not a whole bunch, like 75 bucks.
Some should know, but I don't. You
It
know,
was, yeah, it was probably more than that, so
120, yeah.
death notices. are free.
Obituaries now cost-
And like Dennis said, it depends on the length of your obituary, it can cost more or less.
Yeah, I think average is like 150. Speaking of that, I called about my mom's small life insurance policy yesterday, and I thought, oh, I mean, it's gonna be a pain, I'll be shuffling here to here to here, but it was really a good experience. And the woman that I talked to said, oh, we have to have this proof that your mom died, and then in the meantime, 10 seconds later, she said, oh, I looked it up online, now I see the obituary, that's enough proof.
Really?
So apparently,
What
boy,
was
it's
the
silly.
insurance?
Cuna, C-U-N-A.
That's the teachers. Used to be the teachers.
I mean, my mom got this insurance.
Because when my father's, some insurance companies were really good, but we had to send everybody a
Yes.
death certificate and something else, seemed like. But some insurances weren't real good.
Anyway, it's a pleasant experience.
Good, good. My father had some audit with them.
Insurance? Modern Woodman?
Oh.
Huh, never heard of that.
What do you mean? Come on, been
Modern,
around for
Was he a
2,000 years.
modern, it couldn't have been Modern Woodman 2,000 years ago.
And I called him up, this guy broke his leg, getting up to the shop. Getting all the stuff, that, he was fantastic.
That's good.
Looking up on
Google that later.
that Mario.
Modern Woodman. So these are, they were given to me by, oh, what's his name? Bicknell, who does the security up there, John. So I just drafted what they had given me for the road closure and the parking ordinance.
Mhm.
That needs to be signed by you, but where do I need to post this anywhere? Does this need to be warned? I have,
Here.
I don't remember it.
you signed it in 2019.
We must have done it once before. Oh, we didn't do it last year. 'cause we didn't have
Right,
it.
Yes, we did.
I see it.
Very much.
yeah, it's the
Was it
exact
the
same
Herald?
one that you signed last year. It was in the Herald. Oh,
This is a selectmen of the town of Tunbridge, Orange County, state of Vermont, do hereby give the Union Agricultural Society, also known as the Roads Fair, permission to close Spring Road access, on Route 110 side of the mill covered bridge. The mill covered bridge and a portion of the Spring Road and the mill covered bridge to Route 110 will be used as an exit only. Access to the Spring Road from Route 110 will be obtained by way of Mill Road closure during the fair. So that, I mean, they're just doing the same thing they always do.
And then, yeah, and then the next one is just the parking ordinance saying that the Tunbridge Fair, that you guys get permission to remove any vehicles that are in violation of the town parking ordinance.
I make a motion, we have here and all here.
And do you know, like, so this also was something that they gave to me. Where do I put this? Is this need to be like hung up next to these in like 3 different places? Okay.
Yeah.
Do I need to get,
Parking, all that.
I think that John had wanted to know if we could get this laminated. Like, I don't know if he wants to have this put up for signs. Maybe. So if I just make a couple copies and get them laminated and give them back.
You have a laminator, don't you?
I have one at the house.
Oh, I thought somebody had a.
Kidding.
Why is that? Why can't I have a
She's
laminator?
a home laminator.
My at-home laminator.
She's making herself more valuable to us all the time.
I know.
How did you come by that? So we just like, I just love the lamination.
Devin keeps so many newspaper articles like, oh, baseball this, baseball that, and then wants to keep the entire thing. And I'm like, we're not doing this. So I bought a laminator so I can just laminate the pieces you want so we can throw away the rest of the paper.
Oh, I need that in my picture.
Bring them over, I will laminate.
All right, I have a whole other.
Yeah,
If you want,
are they just like friends and family?
people I've known,
Yeah, I'll laminate.
or he's getting after me to get the drawers full. Get that out. And I think the fire department will bring us something that we have to sign to close to reduce the speed limit down
Okay.
by the Hell Farms.
Okay.
That's something.
I will laminate. Janet said, did you guys see that email? She wasn't gonna come in today. She was on the agenda to give an estimate, but she didn't have it ready yet,
Yeah, I
so
saw it.
she's gonna come next time.
See that?
So yeah, all we have left is warrants and minutes and other business.
All right.
So I had sent you all the July 27th minutes because we didn't do them last week
Mhm.
on account of it was 9:30. So if you've read those, these are those if you want to sign them. And then here's last week's minutes if you want to read those. Is Deb your sister?
She is.
I got an email
Oh, good. She said she was.
about bicycles riding over the crossroad. She's not sure if they were part of the event or not, but they rode past 2 signs saying that the trails for walking only. That this wasn't the first time this happened this year. One other time she was outside when bike riders came through, and one of the riders told her that they did see the sign over at Euclid saying the trail was closed. She said the only way they could miss it is if they were trespassing. When there is an organization hosting a bike ride in town, they submit a map to the select board showing the routes they are taking. Which I think that was brought up last week, that you want to be involved in that. And then does anyone take responsibility when the riders don't follow the plan? It's just disrespectful that the bike riders can't wait until there's a policy or some other form of governance for these trails. Thanks for listening.
Didn't Todd tell us that no bikes are gonna go through the crossroad or any other legal trail?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought, too. Right. Oh, I understand that. It just seems like why would people go through there, that wasn't part of the trail.
Hi, Rudy.
Oh my God.
I like your waterfall background.
That's the stream through the property here.
No, that's nice. Cool.
That's Monarch, huh?
You know that piece right.
Oh, geez. No, I will. But I won't say no.
You like cheese.
Harry Gold, number one selling butter.
Really?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be really, really good.
Is it really?
It's super expensive.
How can it be the number one butter?
Right. It's like you get some popular current singer, it'll show on TV. It's like, oh, they're just so popular. And I turned to Lori and said, they can't be. Never heard of them. How can they be? And she says, you're just an old fogey. I said, I'm not that old. So do you know all the current singers?
No,
You listen
I'm
to Big
getting
97?
not with my kid in the car. When I go by myself, I'm like, yeah, but with Davis, now we listen to toddler time radio. Oh, reels on the bus.
Oh, man, I should go into that.
I oftentimes put my AirPods in. I listen to a podcast on my phone, so I don't have to hear it.
He thinks it is.
I know.
There's no real policing. I thought it was really,
Oh, no.
or the class four.
Well, I think we just need to talk to Todd and say, why did people come through there?
What's happening with our law enforcement discussion in the contract?
Whatever you guys want.
So we didn't have a discussion.
We didn't. I think Loretta was gonna go back to her Selectboard and talk to them about it.
Right.
And then,
Becky also had mentioned that even though we had budgeted 10,000, we didn't spend anywhere close to that last year.
No,
Orange County.
we still only spent 6,000.
Yeah.
What did Bill say about that?
No, he said if we wanted more policing, we could up our contract. But yeah,
But it's interesting, the budget was there.
Right.
Well, I thought, funny, maybe he wasn't aware, you
right.
know, even though somebody had proved it.
he probably wasn't, but I think it's his job to be aware of it.
Well, somebody down there was
Right.
aware. They probably didn't make him aware.
Right.
I don't know.
But ultimately, I'm not trying to pick on Bill, but I mean, I guess if I were mowing lawns and I know that there was $10,000 to mow lawns, I think I would, as long as I wasn't mowing a lawn every other day or something, I would make sure that as long as I mowed.
And maybe that's the way he felt. Maybe he felt that
Yeah.
he gave us what coverage we needed for $6,000 or whatever.
So do you want me to reach back out to Loretta and see?
Just,
Or she had that discussion.
right, just reach out to him, see how she stands, because maybe the select board said, no way, you're not gonna do it.
I have both of those contracts. Waiting for you.
We don't have a contract with anyone right now. I think so.
Not gonna hear too much. Hi.
Oh, it's Brenda,
Uh-oh.
the czar. Come on in.
Leaving Corey to.
I have to bring this back to get all of them assignments. I went and got my booster, my salt off.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah,
You got a booster?
Yeah,
Wow.
because I have rheumatoid arthritis, so they didn't know if the first round was.
Oh, I like. Yeah.
Oh, it looks old.
Everything on me looks old. 'Cause I noticed you parked
Booster
your
for
rate,
what?
COVID,
Pfizer?
Moderna.
Really? So your third shot?
Yeah. Because I got my first one in,
Is that 8 months?
in February, so it's a little early, but
Yeah, I think Devin's gonna get his right off.
They're already okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're,
learned.
I think after what, 8 months, they're suggesting you get your third.
Yes. And actually, they were saying, yeah, up in the news, they sometimes jacks it up so high. or what times that they- So you get them all sucked up.
Yeah.
Now what?
It's just the same, I've just been out of connection for a while.
I can do that.
I noticed you parked your big over the train, which is.
No, gas is dripping out of it.
Don't throw a cigarette on the drain.
I gave these to you guys. Don't expect you to like look at them or go to them, but they had your names on them. But
Very
pass them
efficient.
along.
Thank
Are you gonna go?
I don't know. I might do the virtual one, October 4th through 8th. Virtual exhibit hall.
The 4th through the 8th,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I,
you pick and choose or something?
yeah, I think so, because it's in person for one day. So I think changes to elections law, network over lunch. Yeah. It doesn't look good.
I bet you maybe don't- she got that. Did you go to the dump, John, on Saturday?
No, I was away.
So the transfer station, 7:30 to 3:30.
Chicken discussion gravel right now to 5/8. Is that what we understand is? What is 5/8?
I think that's what, yeah, there's some larger chunks.
Yeah.
Percentage of it's large. It's a lot.
5/8 minus. Oh, it's nothing over. Right.
The big chunks of about 3 windshield.
Right.
You know, it's Michael working different hours. 7:30 to 3:30.
Oh, yeah.
How do you spell
Let's put something on that.
Don't know. I think that Dave Davis. I think Deb has put in a frozen pizza.
pizza night.
We'll see if there's.
Right, I think that's,
I'm adding one.
um,
Oh, yeah.
so they're looking to us to pay for that on the trails. They're gonna pay the legal trails out.
That'll get in the Herald.
Wow. Oh, I'll have to do a C-section. Just for Tunbridge.
No, I'm sorry. You want me to make them less
No,
long?
they're
I
good,
just,
I think.
I just feel like if somebody's gonna look back like we're doing right now, for all the legal trail stuff, I feel like if you do the abbreviated ones like I do for the school, how do you know what the heck anybody wants?
Do they want to be getting one?
Yeah, they want like 2 sentences for each bullet point, and that's it.
Have you heard from Nancy how John? The worst we heard all about legal trails.
Yes. And actually, what they pay. Talk to some of them, so.
Oh. Mhm. Yeah.
On the act.
Mhm.
The designation.
It'd be nice to have that sooner than later, just because Nancy, or not, Laura, Laura was emailed this morning or sometime. If they wanted to come and wrap things up in September.
Okay.
There's a few dates on it.
I think it's only August, but. September.
We have to do
I read it, but I don't know who set up a potential.
we'd have a townwide meeting.
Right.
Yeah, I think she wanted it like on the website.
Right.
Yeah.
But we haven't set that up.
The recommendation is by the 7th.
Ah, okay. Perfect. But that'll be here before we know it.
Let me double check. I'm not sure. I might have put that on the website, because I have in my notes here to upload to the website and give a public comment in 30 days. And I'm going on a meeting. Maybe- I cannot remember.
And if we will need to adopt this policy in September. So it's on our website.
That's what I'm wondering. Right. I think I put it up, but I'm just gonna double check. And if not, then I guess we could postpone that date.
Nora, should we add in the fuel usage here, it says those used for the town office, town hall, and town garage, for payments used for transportation. That town hall kitchen, usage for the gas, so.
I guess so.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
So that the pipe. Furnace. Before,
Yeah.
started to bring her dog.
What's that?
It's like he started to bring her
Yeah.
dog.
He's very docile, very kind. He sleeps over on the floor.
I guess even though we don't have a contract with the sheriff's department, we're still working. 12 hours. It's a lot.
So these need to get edited.
This must be part of some other packet. That I don't know where it is.
Okay.
Which one it goes in.
Oh, this is the manual, okay, so it's already been paid,
Okay,
so I guess it doesn't need a signature.
it's already been paid.
Do you want to sign this? This is the letter from Brenda to Governor Scott to ask for the,
Can I read the letter?
yeah, it's right here. They're the
I
same,
like the letter.
thanks.
And you include that on something, didn't you?
Yeah, on the last one that we did. Thank you. I've been trying to put all the most official.
Even the blind.
Where did you say you were, John?
Yeah, you're bad. Better,
Does Emily have that cabinet?
she does, yeah. It's really hard to get there.
Oh,
What
really?
you need,
Isn't it pretty far?
yeah, it's like,
17, oh my gosh.
that's like Indiana.
Yeah.
But we needed to get these arrive can forms done just to get into Canada. And we had to have a PCR COVID test within 72 hours of minimum. But they're so backed up now that it's one more COVID coming. So we want to ensure like we are going to get them within 72 hours. So there's a sort of sweaty, anxious moment. With that,
You heard there's some place to
we
get
just
them.
looked at that. We got those. And then at the last minute, I knew that PI was an island. And so it turns out Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia both like a PI pass just to get on that into that province. It'd be like Vermont having the borders closed and needing special passes to get into Vermont. So that came over the bridge, so they did a nose swab and an instant test.
Oh, well.
Then on the way home, at the US border, they were just like, a single finger on COVID.
Really?
Yeah,
That's weird.
I know, it's not weird.
Because usually you have the most trouble getting back in.
Exactly.
Every time, I've only gone to Canada one time, but I had the hardest time getting in, and this was long before COVID, and the easiest time getting out to the US.
Oh,
Like, when I went into Canada, they searched my car, they searched my bag, they like stopped me with all this stuff.
because you look suspicious.
Apparently, well, so I guess when they went, I went on some like back road into Canada.
Where?
Up near, Vermont, up near, Lake Memphremagog.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've been on that road.
Yeah. and
It's a big barrier there.
Exactly. So they're like, what brings you to Canada? I said, never been, just drive, like, I'm dog here. so
Draft
no.
dog, huh?
And they said, do you have like $10,000, in cash on you? And I was like, no, but I wish I did. Why? What would you do? I'm like,
Oh,
I
you
don't
said the wrong
know.
answer,
Like,
right.
I'm like 19. I wish I had $10,000. I don't know. Pull over here. And then they went there. I'm just trying to say I've went to Canada. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's the answer. Yeah.
I'm trying to be friendly, trying to. But then, yeah, on the way back, we came like the interstate, and there was like the two people, the border patrol. It was like a guy and a woman, and they were like flirting with each other across the barrier. So they're like, "Oh, you're fine to go through." Like, okay.
They don't give you $10,000.
Exactly.
Drugs.
Learn it all in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like one time coming back from the Calais, Maine, they took me inside because somebody called John O'Brien shelled him. He got his wife.
Yeah.
Look at her, she's fine.
Yeah, it's just bizarre, like clearly I'm not that John O'Brien,
Yeah.
but just it triggered something in their data.
I mean, that's good to know that they somehow were gonna catch that.
Right, well, that's good enough.
Yeah.
That it took them half an hour to make sure I wasn't that John O'Brien.
Yeah.
Like that. And they must share files too, because they sometimes they'll ask you questions, like on the way back, they were like, where are you going, and things like that. It must come up like your travel history, like, and since we go to the same place every time for about the same amount of time, they must just be like these people.
Yeah. Does Emily rent it out during the year, or does it she just uses it? that once?
Sometimes if people are up there,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you should go sometime.
Yeah. maybe I'll see.
It is expensive.
I don't know if you do 17 hours right now.
Yeah, I drove back.
And it's right on the ocean.
It is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Farthest point is like 60 miles. Anywhere on the island. from there.
Yeah, that's really.
Yeah, it's really pretty. Amazing farming. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Mostly potatoes, because Dennis and a lot of wheat.
Do you have a Canada story here?
Only that Lori and I were in Derby Line last spring, middle of May, and we went to
When you went camping.
camping, and we went to the Opera House for it's
Oh, right.
half on and
That's
half
closed,
off.
right?
And anyway, there was a border patrol agent sitting out. I mean, the border's right there, like the other side of this table.
Like the library.
Yeah. Anyway, there was this border patrol agent there, so we started talking. He was a real nice guy, and we said, the border's right there. How do you keep anybody coming back and forth? And he said, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And and there was a road that went through there, but there's just a bunch of big plastic flower pots across the road. And he said, you can't close that road because they had mutual aid on the fire departments.
They just run over the fire pots.
So we wanted a picture of the border. So the guy went over and he said, I'll identify myself so they don't think anything's going funny up here.
Yeah.
So he took our picture and worked their arm out. And then just a month ago, I heard on the news that some people crashed through the flower pots.
Oh, really?
And they crashed through. There were 2 Canadians and 2 other people from Albania or someplace.
Yeah.
And they crashed through and they ended up catching them on the interstate.
Oh, geez.
So I was there.
That's where you were. You were right by the flower pots. That's funny that they had plastic flower pots as the barrier. But makes sense. What about you, Mike? Frequent Canada? Do you frequent Canada?
I used to, but
You go to Montreal when you were a minor?
St. Catharines Street.
I don't wear no mind.
Well, you weren't a minor in Canada, probably.
We were going
Hey,
up,
my man.
we were going up to Sherbrooke from like, got up to Canadian custom. There and the 4 of us in the car, said, how much beer you got? A case. We ain't coming in Canada. Well, of course, when I see you turn around, you really get excited then. But, you know, the United States custom.
Yeah.
If they won't let you in.
And about what year was this?
I don't know if that makes any difference.
Well, it does to me.
Probably 1976 or
Okay.
77. And we got back to US Customs and he said, how come you got turned around? Well, he won't let us in to get much beer.
And enough.
You were a no man's land.
And he says, how much beer you got? I said, case. But there's 4 of you. I said, yeah. He said, well, I can't get you through, but he said, I'll turn back 10 of them, some of the bitches tonight, he says.
Really?
Yeah.
So he took them?
Huh?
He took them?
Yeah, well, he said he just trying to keep
Running the
bringing
Canadians
them
around.
back, Canadians back.
Must have had a case of beer with him.
It was a war, he started a war.
Now, I can tell you some stories about stripper bars.
I mean, that's what I assumed we were gonna get into next. That's why people go to Canada. You were like, probably in '76, you were a teenager. Right,
Thank you,
right? Weren't you?
Yeah.
thank you.
He was
yes,
near big.
Thank you.
Near.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
One time, Will Gillen, you must know Will.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways,
Oh,
he's in a-
okay,
he's in a
yes.
wheelchair.
Yeah.
Peter Dickinson is a mutual friend of ours, and this is 20 plus years ago, I guess, and Pete had come back to town and rented a car in Boston and drove back to Chelsea, and he needed to return the car in Burlington. And so Willie called me up and said, want to go to Burlington? And it's just like a nice summer day, and I said, okay, sure. So we went up to Burlington, Pete returned his car, and then we got something to eat. And then he said, how about going to Montreal? So we all decided we'd go to Montreal. So we went up there and we did go to some stripper bars. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning when we finally got home. And Willie's dad said, where the hell have you been? We said, I'm from Montreal. I said, right. And so for the rest of Sid's life, he never believed it.
Really?
Yeah, you guys have a good one.
What time are you in Berlin? About 3.5 hours from there.
Something like that. I drove it.
We went up to Expo game a couple of years for the Masons. That was a nice park.
Olympic Park.
Is that something? Or was there?
They were in Montreal.
Oh, were they?
When they were a professional
Oh,
major league team, the Expos.
because weren't they like a Vermont team for?
Yeah, a farm
Oh.
affiliate, yeah, so it was single A.
Yeah.
The Blue Card had it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We just got it.
Yeah.
At some point they were for Olympic Stadium. I don't know if they were major league. If they were,
Yeah.
The Olympics, remember when they were Olympics? In the 70s, right?
Yeah.
72,
Probably something.
or that's when you mentioned 76.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Montreal, Atlanta.
So it turns out the chair of PC Fiber is one of my members from the Fuji Club.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, FX, I
Really?
used to see him all the time. Yeah, so that was funny. He called me, he's like, Mariah, it's FX. I'm like, hi, I'm FX.
Wow.
And he's
He
like,
lives at the Gucci Club?
he lives in Fuji, yeah.
He used to pick on-
Yeah, he's part of a lot of like our men's golf group, so I would do like a lot of their events, and so I'd see FX 3 or 4 times a week. And just so happens he's the PC Fiber chair.
Small world. isn't
Well,
it?
twist is not.
Nice, yeah.
That's what it- Probably got some incriminating stuff in the phone.
How long did you work at the PT Club?
5.5 years.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I started there right out of college, so I was getting my real estate license, and I was like starting off with Sotheby's and doing real estate, but you only get paid if you sell a house. So it's like the new young realtor. who
The
was
last
hired.
one in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You get the
Basically.
worst postings. too, right?
exactly. So I was like, I need money.
right.
So I started bartending, and then a position opened up that was full time. It's like full time salary, real estate. So I tried to balance both. I did. I was doing events for the club, so I was doing like weddings, conferences, things like that. And then I became the food and beverage manager. I did that for the last 3.5 years.
Yep.
Really liked it. I mean, it was fun. I don't know if any of you have ever worked in restaurants, but it's,
So you had to do all the ordering.
yeah, liquor, inventory, scheduling, all of that, training, bar.
You have your bartender's license.
Yeah, I would do Friday, Saturday nights because I made so much money. So I would do that Friday, Saturday nights. And then I can. I certainly can. Yeah.
Many hats.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it, but it was just a lot. Like especially in the summer, from Memorial Day till Labor Day, you'd be there 6 days a week from 9 a.m. till 1 or 2 in the morning. Yeah, you sell your soul to the PG Club. It's like a cult. And so I just said, enough's enough. How am I supposed to have a family and do this?
Here you are.
Now I'm in town for it.
The
Step
only
in.
time I ever went skiing was at Gucci Lake.
Yeah.
They had a
On that feeling.
freebie day for high school students.
When you were 35, you went.
Yeah.
Ski down the hill, I said the same thing.
I have a bartender story. Years ago, Lori and I went to Napa Valley and went to, I can't think of the name of the town, it begins with a C, but it's where the French Laundry is.
Yeah.
It's a famous restaurant. So we thought, well, okay, we'll see if we can get in and thinking we would. Anyway, we got in and really the place was packed.
Yeah.
And there was only one bar stool left. So Lori took the bar stool and I just stood there. And it was just very annoying people next to Lori. It was a guy and 2 women. And they were very loud. And so the bartender gave us some wine and whatever, and some snacks. And
Were you waiting for a table or that was where you were at?
we figured that's what we were gonna eat, but we were just happy to do something, right? Anyway, after a while, the 3 annoying people left, and so I had a seat then, so I sat up there, and it turns out the bartender was from upstate New York somewhere. He used to have a garage, and he got sick of the garage, so California became a bartender.
Yeah.
And he complained about the people that just left. He said they've been here for 4 hours and they hardly bought anything, and they didn't tip. So he was really mad at that.
Yeah.
So he started bringing out free samples of wine just for
Yeah.
Lori and myself. And we sat there, we drank, I don't know how many glasses of wine. And then we got appetizers and we got the whole thing for
Yeah.
free.
Oh,
The whole
nice.
thing.
That's awesome.
So that was pretty neat.
Yeah, he's gonna be nice to Bart.
Right.
Yeah,
in comparison, it
Yeah,
grew.
right.
Yeah, I loved when our wine fair would come because he'd bring a
What
backpack.
barrels or do you?
We did use Sparrow for some, but we also used, now that you asked me, I can't tell you. His name's Anthony. I probably have to contact him. Maybe he'll tell me actually. He does they did really nice wine, so it wasn't food barrels, but
They don't have a wine cellar or do they?
we do.
For the restaurant.
Yeah, for a restaurant, and we do wine society, it's called.
Wow.
So you can buy lockers and you can have wine stored in your lockers with
Wow.
your own book. So you've already bought it, but you get it at a retail price and then, or discount price, member price, and then, yeah,
You
you
wanna
get
buy a
wine.
case, it's like, we just have to find a case.
Exactly. So then you buy it for, we still work it out. And then you get wine service at the table. So the corkage fee of $10 to have your server open up your bottle that you picked from
In
your
your
fancy
locker.
leather book that you didn't sign up.
Wow.
I used to have that.
Do all of that wine.
Yeah. But, so I love when you would come because it'd be like a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. You'd be sitting there slugging back the wine, and then the rest of your day was great.
Oh, you didn't swallow it. You couldn't have swallowed it.
So you got to decide like what was on the wine.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I always drink.
Your birthday.
It was consistent.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Or, you know,
Get out of PBR.
It's cheap. when we're-
the man who taught me how to bartend, and was a great friend of mine. He actually owns Woodstock Beverage now, the liquor store, right in Woodstock.
Mhm.
But his career has been bartending and beer, wine, alcohol, that's his job.
Yeah.
And he's done great just being a wedding bartender, regular restaurant bartender, and owning a liquor store.
You must have a gift for dad or.
Oh, yeah,
this and that
yeah,
and all
he's
that stuff.
great. Knows everything about anything to do with alcohol, and
So I have a question on that, like at our wedding site, like we say, oh, you have to have a licensed bartender or BYOB. Right, but in Vermont, like would you have to have your own essential business and come with insurance?
no,
Or-
so the club, you mean me if I came to your house?
Exactly.
I don't
A
believe
licensed
so.
bartender, because they can't just travel, I mean, somebody has to have liability.
Right,
Because they're essentially
yeah,
a business, or they represent Bloods or somebody else. right?
I would assume they would have to come from like a company, because I know like if we did off-site stuff, it was still under the PG club umbrella.
Yeah.
But then I have my like serving certification, like and teaching certification, so I could administer stuff to the other servers, but it always blanket over
Right,
the club.
so we've always just wondered how that works, like, I want the bartender to go on, I don't.
They might have to, I don't know, that'd be a good question, 'cause I would, it would depend, I mean, I guess, are you having your wedding people bring in their own alcohol and then just having somebody for the bartending fees and serve it?
Well, that's what people have asked
Yeah.
about that, like if we buy the spirits for a bar, and a licensed bartender.
I don't know, that'd be a good question for them. 'Cause I would be, yeah, if you need a bartender, that'd be fun to do. Somebody else is providing it, I'll set
Right,
it up and I'll
exactly.
pour it.
Ian Davis will come up.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, I might do something.
Yes. I'm gonna sign this one. You want me to sign it? I mean, you're okay with the letter?
Oh, yes, yes. We're signing for all of us.
No, there's a place for all of us.
Did we deal with Rudy at some point? Does he want something?
I don't know,
You can ask him.
your alternates, so you can see them, there you go, Mike.
Have you met this Megan yet? From this stuff?
I have that.
Can you get in touch with her and have her come into it?
Sure.
Rudy, do you wish anything of us?
Sorry, having trouble unmuting. I was trying to be patient to get to the other business. I had one small item about E911 and the top end of Hoyt Hill and Morrill Road. And I believe we had discussed it once previously and I never followed through on it, but I guess there was some sort of response issue up there the other night that the ambulance and the rescue vehicle and the state police all ended up with various issues on getting up there in a timely fashion. And looking at it again, I think in possibly the easiest way to resolve it would be to rename that section of Hoyt Hill Road where it becomes third class again after having been fourth class. So it from Stratford Road, it's third class to start, and then there's that section that's fourth class, and then when it hits the corner with Morrill Road again, it turns back to third class. I think the only one that's getting mail up there right now is Jola, so it would impact her in terms of addressing, but it might resolve issues in terms of getting response folks up there in a timely fashion. So it's nothing that needs to be settled tonight, but I wanted to get it on the radar because the issue came up.
So are you gonna rename from the corner, the sharp corner by Jola's house, that little short stretch?
That would be my suggestion. I think, I guess I'm not totally clear whose domain that is to name roads. But I think that would be the easiest way to resolve it.
Yeah,
Well,
why couldn't that just be Morrill Road? It seems like that would be the easiest solution.
It could be, I guess, it hits that fourth corner there, or that four corners. Yeah, I think that could work too, probably.
sounds logical to me.
Because it's not, I mean, it's like a T, right? It's not really a four corners there. There's if you go down a little bit, you come to the
Right.
Swayze Road, right?
Right.
Which is, what is that? Is it even, that's,
Swayze Road's been discontinued at this point.
yeah. But it always, yeah, I mean, that's confusing. I can see like GPS. I think we've run into people who've been confused there. Because Hoyt Hill has, two sort of active class 3 parts with class 1 in the middle.
Exactly.
And then your Kelsey Mountain where it becomes.
Mhm.
It's four. I'm confused. What's on the end?
Schoolhouse. Turn into class 4 until it gets up to
Over
the
those
brick
ledges.
schoolhouse.
So on the other end, it's not Kelsey Mountain? What is it?
Should be until the
Yeah, yes,
schoolhouse.
it is, yeah.
Till
So
the
that, the
intersection.
same thing happens there?
Maybe they never
Is
had
that true, Rudy?
911 call.
I'm trying to think if that section, I would have to look carefully at that again, whether there's a section, it becomes Gifford Hill
Right,
shortly thereafter, but I think that's at the corner. So there may be a section there that's in the same situation.
yeah, that might be just,
You think?
100 yards or something. 200
Yeah, I don't think it's very long.
those, that nice white house is
Right.
up to the brook. It's probably still Kelsey Mountain.
I think it would be.
Maybe we should change that.
Because we went to a grievance over there one time.
At Bonnie Flynn's,
Yeah.
Bonnie Harvey's,
I mean, Harvard, yeah.
and someone who just bought land beyond.
Perhaps. All right, do you need anything else from us, Rudy?
I don't, I just wanted to get that on the radar as something to think about.
Well, that sounds like-
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rudy.
Thank you, Rudy.
Did you see that somebody hit the guardrail down by Russell Road
No,
on 110 right
Oh,
there? Right on that corner, right where Russell Road turns on, somebody ran right into it, like knocked it out of the,
yeah?
Yeah.
On the opposite side of Russell Road or on the Russell Road side of Russell Road?
on the Russell Road side of Russell Road. I was gonna draw you a picture of that.
Did it just happen apparently?
It must have been like a couple days ago, I think. I went down to South Royalton and saw it,
Any-
but I haven't heard anything. I mean, Rodney might know, but it's a state highway, so
Right.
he doesn't have to fix it.
Are there any plastic car parts on the ground?
No, there's some cones, I think, around
Yeah.
the guardrail.
Probably somebody with a case of beer, 4 guys in a car.
Go back.
Yeah,
Going south.
they only made it to
Go back.
Russell Road. Turn around. So what else is going on around town?
I think we should get some speed bumps right in town for all the speeders.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like
You see them
I'm
all the
getting,
time.
yeah, and I'm getting like so old and so mother henish that when people drive by, I stand there,
Yeah.
watch them go by so fast.
It's the proving eye.
Yeah. Well, it's awful because remember last summer, did you hear about how Shirley, her car got ran into when she was watching Elaine for us?
No,
So she parked right in front of Elaine's house
Mhm.
and we were standing in the front yard and I had Davis on my back and a car came down and they were speeding and they were all texting. There was 3 of them in the car and they came right from the northbound lane all the way across and
You saw
rear-ended
this?
her. Yeah, it was right. I was right there. And if her car wasn't there, they would have hit me.
Right.
And they totaled her car and the police came and
oh,
everything.
I
and
remember that now.
so like stuff like
Did
that.
they have insurance? I mean,
I don't know whatever came about of it,
They're
but
texting their agent right there.
yeah, that's right.
I mean,
mean.
if I were to guess, I would assume that they were headed to buy some stuff.
Yeah,
Suspended
right.
license. Well, that's why I'm wondering if they had insurance. too,
Yeah.
because oftentimes they-
Or license or legal car or anything.
Right.
So,
Yeah. What do you do with like somebody who has a suspended license and no insurance? They hit you, it's just like you're out.
You're absolutely.
yeah, I think my mom got hit a couple years ago like that. She was stopped turning to go up onto Gilead Brook and
Mhm.
Bethel, Railton, or Randolph, Bethel Randolph. And somebody again was texting. She was at a dead stop and they nailed her
Oh,
at 50.
Whoa.
Did it hurt her neck or anything?
Yeah, she had to get like taken out and
Yeah.
x-rayed and all that, but
Huh.
luckily she was okay, but he didn't have a license or insurance.
Yeah.
So then our insurance company just had to,
Yeah.
or her,
They
had
don't-
to cover the whole thing for her, which
And they don't-
luckily it did, but
They don't let
Oh,
you do
shit,
that.
collision.
yeah,
But then her rates went up.
what's that?
Then her rates went up.
Exactly, yeah. And they wanted to, like, they probably should have totaled her car, but they were like, oh, we'll fix it. So then they fixed it for her and then, now it's like a salvage value.
Right.
We had the smallest agenda and we still somehow dragged it out till 8 o'clock.
So it's 90 minutes. Have I got any action items? I don't remember any.
I don't think that you have any.
We're gonna call Rob.
Mike's got a call Rodney. Did you call the state, John, to talk about septic permits? Remember Betsy? Put it right on you last time.
He went to Prince Edward Island and they didn't say a thing up there.
What was I calling it?
You were calling somebody,
EDC.
yeah, I think so, and just seeing where the septic, like what was going on with the 3 septic permits and
Just for Tunbridge? Like,
Yeah.
was there a specific, what couldn't she find out? It was
she
like
just said every time she
Oh,
tried to
man.
call, they would say, we couldn't tell you, or things like that. So she
what's
thought,
happening with these
Right.
investigations.
She said a man needs to.
that's right, a man.
So I could call them about what's going on with these specific companies. We need to talk to your health officer.
Where's Betsy?
The last week on
Yeah.
the job there.
Did you go down to Cornish tractor pulling? How'd you do?
First place.
Yeah.
Beat David Race.
You did. What's he got for tractor?
Hmm?
What's he got for tractor?
Hot rod H he's got.
And you beat him with your C? Yeah, nice. You beat him by a lot.
10 feet.
Yeah, that's enough. Did he come over and shake your hand and smile at you? Or?
You know, I get along all right. on that stuff.
Even though you've got the bigger trophies in West Tunbridge.
Right.
Do the 2 of them,
Right.
health officer and David, do they have different sides of the house where their trophies are?
Yeah.
They each have their
Betsy's
own
trying
trophy.
to think up something that she can make with the trophies, like a totem pole or something.
Set him on fire or something? Did you have a good tractor count down there?
Yeah, pretty good. I thought for, they said it was gonna rain and the
Yeah.
hurricane was gonna hit. Everybody was all worried about it and it actually started raining about 2 o'clock. We were just getting done the last class. And it rained and I got up to Lebanon, the roads were dry again.
You pull,
No, I thought it was a pretty good, the bigger tractors were a little light, but, there was probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 in that 3,500 class that David and I were in.
you pull in that little riding arena thing there
Yeah.
above the ox pulling?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were
Yeah.
pulling garden tractors when we were
Yeah.
down there Saturday night.
Yep, they did. Garden
I
tractors.
didn't see the thrill in that.
You didn't have a case of beer.
That's true.
Yeah, David and I went, because the track's only 150 feet there.
Yeah.
And so David went 150 feet, nobody else made it. So I went 150 feet. And so we came around, we were talking, wait for the rest of the tractors. And they got done and David says, "You going first?" And I said, "No, I ain't going first." I said, "You go first." So he took off. Raymond knocked on the door and he says, "I'd really like you to win this," he says. And I said, "Well, I'd really like to win it." He said, "I don't think you got tires enough," he says, but he said, "Give it your best try." So David went up, kind of veered to the left there, and I knew I couldn't beat him if I went the same track, because he's got more power than I do. And, so I veered to the right. She caught something good there, and I whistled right up through.
Yeah. A little tractor that could.
There are a lot of cock shut tractors up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, that's where they're made in Canada.
Oh, really? There's
Oh,
a Canadian.
What's
They
that?
used to buy tractors from Oliver and paint them. And then after the war, they started making their own. They were the first tractor to have a fully independent PTO.
Yeah,
Oh,
huh. Quite an innovation.
Yes.
and then was it Massey? What was it before? It was Massey.
Massey Harris.
Massey Harris was all out of those too.
They were made in Canada.
Yeah.
And what were they? Scott trucks.
Oh, were they?
Urban Oil used to make their own trucks.
Oh, really?
I think it was Scott.
Boy, they had some big combines. That was Case International Harvester. 30, 40 foot, you know.
It's a header.
Yeah,
Is that what it's called? Yeah, because they can take them off too.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Drag them behind a whole weird trailer.
Exactly. Yeah.
I felt big when I was pulling my 17-foot tedder up the road today.
Yeah. Anybody else want to?
No, I'll trust
You good? Hopefully, things are just clear. No, they're good. Just little things.
David's found, got the hots for a cop shut 20 for some reason.
Oh, really?
So
20, yeah.
he found one of some option out in Ohio or somewhere else that he developed. So he's got that.
How many horsepower is that?
They had quite a lot of horsepower for the size of them. They were like,
Like a Farm All A, or are they small?
no, they're like 26, 28 horse, but they're about the size of the
Yep.
farm. He's all hooked up. He's got a cock shut 30, but he's never pulled one. This kid come up to Phil Williams's. He's from, I think he's from down in Maine. And he has a Minneapolis Moline
Oh, yeah.
G706, 504 cubic inch,
Really?
6-cylinder.
Does it bark?
No, it's got pretty low rumble to
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Connecting rods must be 4 feet long.
Okay.
So Wasn't John Deere in Moline?
Yes.
So what was the relationship between Minneapolis, Moline? John Deere.
They were just, that was in
Same
that
city.
area.
Oh. No relationship.
No,
Where's John
because I
Deere
think
headquarters? Is
Minneapolis
it-
Moline was made out of like 4 different tractor companies that were in that area. They combined in the 20s or something like that.
Where was John Deere headquartered, in Moline, or was
Yeah.
it? It was.
Paul and Miguel's boys worked for John Deere out there.
Did I know that?
I always.
Oh.
I think it was this one.
I think there's one for each of us.
I love budget.
Yeah, emanates from the home.
I haven't got your budgets.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
I third it.
How's racing going?
Oh, it's going okay.
You gotta sneak
You
up.
got a
out of the
faster
team,
engine
so-
now? You were gonna, your car was going much slower than anybody else.
I got another engine. I got the engine back from Sandra finally, but it's sitting in the corner right now, so I have time to change it. Can I tell you what I did, Mike? Well, what I did was my buddy B said maybe I had stuck rings.
Yeah, you tried that. Did
Yeah.
it make a difference when
It
you were
did.
racing?
It did.
You said it made a difference on your compression.
Yeah.
but-
It did make a difference.
Oh,